TikTok thought that I don't know who it thinks I am, but it was feeding me a very steady stream of AI-generated content that was fruit people in cartoon form, but semi-lifelike.
Yeah.
Speaking in Kurdish.
Yeah, you said to our colleague, I've got a video about a Kurdish apple doctor. And he was like, I've been to the Kurdish areas, but I didn't know about these apple doctors. And you were like, no, it's literally an apple that is a doctor talking Kurdish.
The Signal. You are listening to The Signal.
The Signal.
Cutting through the noise.
You are listening to The Signal.
This is The Signal, a podcast with a global perspective on media, journalism, and technology. Fergus, what are we talking about today?
Today, Tom, we're going to go on a voyage of reminiscing, of nostalgia, of kind of going back, but pegging it to the current moment, which is how on earth do you become successful on the internet, online, like in that digital world nowadays when everything has been ripped up and we have to start again? It is completely unpredictable. So
How do we
that's
go
the small
viral?
little thing that we're going to kind of explore.
How do we go viral?
That's probably the title of the podcast. How do we go viral? I was trying to get us to that point at the end, but you've
I'm trying to get us there.
You've ruined it.
I'm trying to get us to virality already.
Yeah.
The backdrop for this is that we are now on TikTok, and it is a strange place.
Yeah, I have not put it on my phone. I will never put it on my phone because
Is that fear of addiction?
It's fear of addiction. It's when we put ourselves on there the other day and started to kind of look at what we were exposed to, it was scary for me as quite a newbie to TikTok, and that's really embarrassing to say it.
TikTok thought that I don't know who it thinks I am, but it was feeding me a very steady stream of AI-generated content that was fruit people in cartoon form, but semi-lifelike.
Yeah.
Speaking in Kurdish.
Yeah, you said to our colleague, I've got a video about a Kurdish apple doctor. And he was like, I've been to the Kurdish areas, but I didn't know about these apple doctors. And you were like, no, it's literally an apple that is a doctor talking Kurdish.
Yeah, it was bizarre. And that was all I got for quite a long time.
But that is maybe part of the game of going viral these days. So, okay, now we've gone to the end. Let's go back a little bit to the beginning. So the internet used to be predictable. The way that we navigated the internet was search. Google was the front door to websites because you would search Google for the web pages that you wanted to. Before that, you would use
Alta Vista
or Yahoo or Excite.
Lycos.
Ask Jeeves was another one that you could use. But Google,
I'd forgotten about Ask Jeeves.
Google got to the kind of to the mainstream, and everyone just used Google. Used Google. Then Facebook came along that upended things, but the rules were still kind of known. You knew how it worked. Facebook was about discovery, and it was probably the first time people really became aware of that algorithm and how the algorithm was applied to them. Because that's when we started to hear people say, the algorithm is serving me this. No one had ever talked about algorithms before. Twitter was really great for breaking news and was usually quite free of the algorithm in the early days because it was just
you could free yourself quite easily from the algorithm.
Yeah.
Like using lists and, Yeah, you could,
Yeah, and quite a lot of it was
I
chronological.
miss Twitter so much.
I miss Twitter too.
And as I know that Blue Sky can do it all, but it ain't the same.
Links connected everything, so you would have to, like on TV, read your website link out, and people would be like, http:// and forward slashes, and the websites were the ultimate destination. That is where you got to content and the information that you were looking for. Businesses understood how all of this worked. So search engine optimization, people knew what words to put on their website, how to phrase things in order for them to appear higher up the search rankings. They wanted to be on the front page of Google.
Whole industry around that.
Whole industry built on SEO,
Yeah.
like companies and companies and companies doing
And jobs, right? It's
Jobs.
like people's jobs. It's
Yeah.
just SEO.
And then as social media came along, in recent memory, you would have social media managers who would curate content for you and try and get some insight into the algorithm. There was data attached to that. Some of the data, I mean, we can have a whole discussion about how much data was given away and to who and to whom and who controlled that. And but you also then understood in terms of business that you could put an ad on there and someone would click through, or you could put a story or a link and someone would click through, and that's the currency. So there were various ways to then measure whether something was going viral. Like, what was going really well? Well, it's getting lots of clicks. It's getting lots of views. It's getting a lot of page traffic. And I guess the way that you knew something was viral was because you could measure it and you could see a spike in virality. And there were lots of companies that were helping you measure that spike, but also looking at what other people were having go viral and to help you copy that.
RIP CrowdTangle.
Yes. So CrowdTangle, a tool that allowed you to monitor different social accounts and see what the performance was. So you could kind of monitor your competitors. It was always a little bit strange because it's all based on kind of trying to interpret an algorithm that you are not allowed to understand how it works. So a company like Meta creates the algorithm. It's never going to tell you how it works because it doesn't want people to game it. It's also proprietary information. It's its secret source. And so there was a lot of companies who were making money by coming up with a recipe for starting to understand parts of it. So, and then to go viral, you basically needed to do something that would mean that someone clicked or someone viewed or someone shared. And virality started to revolve around sharing. So everyone was chasing the algorithm. We've got publishers, news organizations, media organizations chasing the algorithm and trying to game it.
And every so often, somebody would switch something at the platforms, and then everyone had to start again.
Yeah.
There was like various moments where, either Google or Facebook would change something, and then there'd be a panic that, oh my God, the algorithm's changed.
And we get that at the moment. It's like trying to promote this podcast on LinkedIn, it's doing okay, and then all of a sudden something changes, or you're not allowed to post a link in the post, and the
link
traffic
in comments
goes off. And if you put sometimes you are allowed to put a link in the comments, sometimes you're not. How long should the clip be? Like, what is the algorithm
What time
going
of
to
day
reward? Time
do
of
you
day,
post it?
language. Are you using emoji? But it wasn't just publishers. It wasn't just news organizations. It was brands, YouTubers who were really successful, really knew what worked for the algorithm. Bloggers, influencers, like companies that sold stuff online needed to know. And that's also so there's the rules around kind of the algorithm that people mostly understood, even if they didn't understand
the detail.
Yeah. And then you also had people who understood the economics of that internet. So an ad, if someone clicks on an ad, someone gets some money. usually Google or gets a piece of that money, and then the person,
Yeah,
you know,
Google and Meta basically ate, or Google, Facebook as was then,
yeah,
basically ate that whole market.
and rightly or wrongly, everyone at least knew how that worked. And it wasn't an easy process to go through. It wasn't an easy task, and a lot of people were employed, and probably still are currently, to make sense of this and make it work for brands
And some people were amazing at it, and they were very highly valued and highly prized.
Yeah, and if you learned the rules and you knew how to play the game, you could grow.
So
and you could do
this
really
is,
well.
I think, this is basically how the Daily Mail is maybe one of the biggest news websites by traffic globally, and it's because they invested in understanding how this stuff worked, and they figured this system out, and they benefited massively from that reach.
So that's the old internet, and I can't believe we're calling it the old internet when this was just a few years ago.
I remember the even
4
older
years
internet.
ago.
Yes.
Yeah. But now it's fragmented. Those rules do not exist in the same way. They do still exist because this is still how it's worked. No one's shut it off. It is still working in this way, but things are very swiftly changing because people now discover things in completely different places.
Yeah. So I think of the old internet as being basically the open web, right? Where you can, it's links, it's navigating from here to there, and then on, and it's the journey, and there's kind of value in the links and where they're posted to. And maybe this was already starting to happen with Facebook, but now it feels like we're in the extreme version of this. Is kind of like the walls have come down. So you can still, it's not that you can't access these things, it's just that the space kind of, or the journey that you go on, all the platforms seem designed to keep you in one space.
Yeah.
So Google has moved, search doesn't look like it used to. What's the big change that we've seen in search in 25 and 26?
The search is now being conducted through AI, through ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini.
Yeah, and from a user perspective, I don't know how you feel about this. I find AI search gives me basically the information I need in the way that I need it very quickly, and I then don't really have to click a link to go and see something.
No.
From a user perspective, it's a pretty good product.
Yeah.
From a newsroom or publisher or brand perspective, it could be death, right? Because nobody's clicking through to my site.
So the question is, who do we need to satisfy, the user or the brands who now have to completely change their business models? Probably the users, the individuals, the people where access to information quickly and efficiently is important. But then we do have, I mean, this whole podcast is here to talk about the kind of value of the information behind that, which is not free to produce and does rely on a business model somewhere at some point in order to keep existing.
Yeah, if that value isn't passed down effectively, what the producers of the information will say is, we're not going to produce information anymore, and ultimately that's going to lead to a dissatisfied user because they can't find the thing they're looking for.
But let's just expand out that context in terms of where people discover things now, because we're sitting here in London. In other parts of the world, some people are only accessing the web through Facebook because it's packaged in their mobile plan and they get no other data access. Or actually they're just getting content and information through WhatsApp and WhatsApp groups. We've talked about ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, Gemini, TikTok search, like the social media platforms and apps. A lot of people are searching there for information. Reddit for forums, people will follow news and information there. Then you've got Discord servers and newsletters, and I mean, an excellent place to be informed is a podcast. But
Like and subscribe.
yeah,
By some measures, TikTok search and YouTube search are, I think, the second and third biggest search platforms, right? So it's not about Bing or DuckDuckGo. It's search on YouTube is enormous,
yeah,
huge.
which people don't talk about very much.
No, it's because it's a bit hard, because I think we're too ingrained to think of, if you think of search, then I think of blue links on a Google page, basically. But that's not,
Tom, you're so old-fashioned.
if you were speaking to somebody 10 years younger than me or 20 years younger than me, 10 years younger would say YouTube, 20 years younger would say TikTok. There's
Do you know
search.
what? I think 20 years older would now say Gemini on my phone.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
But these things are not open. These apps, they're not the web now. So you said it used to be open web. Now everything's become closed and platform. And if you try to do things try to access these things through the web, you get a very rubbish, unsatisfying,
a strange experience.
So I don't have Instagram on my phone now because I decided that I didn't want that on my phone. I instead access it through the web browser on my phone, because you can't do the endless scrolling. You can't search properly when you're on it. It will only give you like a really limited search result. Can't post things to stories. Like, you lose a lot of functionality because it wants you to get into the app.
I'm so curious what the percentage of people are who use Instagram via web browser.
But it honestly, it gives me so much time back in my life. But I don't regret it.
I think there's a different kind of maybe a bit more nuanced shift that's happened in between these two periods, which are when I first joined Facebook, and even later than that.
Was it the Facebook when you first joined it?
I wasn't quite that early, but it was about keeping up to date with people that I know, my friends and family, and the same with Instagram. It was very much about friends, and it was a social network in that sort
You used to poke your friends on Facebook
and wait for a poke back.
Yeah.
Now, the social element of a platform like Instagram is, I don't know, second or third order. Like, I might look at a friend's stories, but mainly it's about reels, which I enjoy. I like it, but it's not a social thing. It's just it's another broadcast platform, basically.
Yeah.
Highly algorithmic broadcast platform. The social network is now WhatsApp. Like, that's where I'm speaking to people that I know.
Point. Yeah.
So we still call YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, we still call it social media. But
we don't call them social networks anymore.
No, we don't call them social networks. Social media. But they're not. They're hardly social.
It's people-led media.
Yeah.
People-led, short, viral, or addictive. But they're not necessarily viral. Like, these things are displayed through the algorithm.
Very funniest content is when you get something that's not viral and you think, what is this?
I was about to share a thing that I keep seeing on Instagram, but I was going to say that I don't think that the things that I see you're going to be seeing.
No,
but previously we would have both seen a viral video.
Exactly.
Pop
and
up
we'd have
somewhere.
been able to talk about it. Yeah. We've run into this sometimes at work, where you assume that I have been also watching whale washing videos.
Yeah.
And that is just a completely alien concept to me.
Yeah.
But you've also not been watching the coffee grinder reviews that I get fed constantly.
And I have never seen an Apple
So we don't have
video.
anything to talk about these days. That's the problem.
No. So actually we're losing. There was a way of transferring what we were seeing go viral online on social, and we were able to talk about it and create like a physical or like an in-person social connection over some of that, a shared experience. But now it's not a shared experience. It's a very lonely experience.
The only thing we have left is the traitors.
The only thing we have left is the
And
traitors.
that's only once a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I do think that there's an element of, like, the World Cup is happening right now.
Is it?
Yeah. Many people
Yeah.
are therefore having a moment of at least shared awareness that there is this big sporting thing happening. It's one reason why. Now, I'm conscious I've tried to destroy Gilmore Girls and The West Wing. Not this year so much, but I will have in recent years watched Love Island, not because it's a terrible show, but there is a kind of community around it. Maybe that's your Eurovision.
I have never watched, just for the record, I have never watched a full episode of Love Island. I've probably watched the equivalent of half an episode in my entire life. Come at me, because if
It's terrible. But Instagram chat of Love Island is funny.
well, if it's funny, it must be worth it. So the Instagram chat with other people on Instagram, but none of the people that you know.
Because it's clear that there's like other people are watching this. Or at the moment, there's a lot of really good content being made about House of the Dragon, which is is episode 2 has just aired, and some of the takes on that are very creative and very funny.
Okay.
Which is why I'm on Instagram.
That is definitely not what I get on my Instagram. Okay, so going viral, let's say going viral actually meant something for interactions between individuals as well as something that was being shared. Like it was like going viral was a social thing because it was, you could say something was going viral if it was being shared a lot and people were seeing it a lot, and there was a kind of common like moment around a piece of video. And sitting in a newsroom, like we had to verify viral videos and chase them down, and we had to try and get access to viral videos to be able to broadcast them on the news, even though they weren't newsworthy. They were newsworthy because they were viral, not because of what they were actually showing, which I think doesn't happen as much now. Because people have access to it. Because that was also a time when people were shifting. Not everyone was on Reddit or not everyone was on TikTok, but now it's instantly there. If it is,
I don't think it would make much news if something that there is a viral video now. No. I think it's partly to do with just the volume. Maybe it's partly to do with the algorithm, which is sending us down very personalized.
Yes,
journeys.
I think that's
But it's also like there's so much stuff now that for any one thing to get enough prominence across a very algorithmic feed is the chances of that.
So just to try and sum it up and get a little bit back on track, the new internet or the new digital world where content exists and we interact with it's highly personalized, but it's highly unpersonal.
I like that.
Clip it. It's enclosed. It's based on the clip economy. Like you're not getting into a conversation or you don't get into any depth. It's recommendation driven, but not recommended by a friend. It's recommended by the algorithm. And it's still just as obscure. The web itself feels smaller and a bit old-fashioned, maybe. Like I'm sure young people don't say the web. But that's because fewer people are like in it and traveling around it. They're actually all in these like walled gardens. So what do we mean by like valuable content now? Let's say we've had the death of going viral. Views, followers, bigger audience for a single clip doesn't make sense. It's more about reach of the whole platform. Advertisers will still need a video to go viral if they are promoting something or it's attached to it. But the platforms themselves just need people's eyeballs. They don't need one particular piece of content to go viral because everyone's on the platforms scrolling anyway. So that rule is like ripped up.
That's gone. Yeah. I think the new rule, and I think there were some early indicators of this, is it's less about how many people are going to see my thing and more about how deep is the connection with the niche audience that I might be able to command, and how loyal are they to me. So it might not be huge numbers, but the value, I guess, is in the depth of connection.
So community is a value in some places, but it's not on the reels. Unless you're a community of football fans or Love Island. You feel a sense of community with your Love Island
perspective, though?
Your Love Island community on Instagram.
Yeah.
You feel connected to those people you don't know leaving comments about your favorite Love Islanders. You feel a sense of connection to them.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I don't feel a particular. I'm not a big fan of any one given Love Island creator or reactor. But I think but some people will be. And I think, when we were talking to Local News International a few weeks ago, I think Dave Jorgensen's he's speaking to, it's quite a big number now, but that is a really loyal audience.
I think you're right. And the question I was going to ask you is, would you rather have 1 million random viewers or 10,000 people who genuinely care? And I think Dave and Local News International have got the people that care, the loyalty, the people that come back to them.
Yeah. But this is a really big shift for publishers.
Yeah.
Because the key thing publishers thought about for a long time was pure reach, pure page views. Right?
And people, you could pay for Twitter followers.
Yeah.
You could pay for thousands of Twitter followers because follower count was the most important.
Yeah.
Because that usually did have some relation to viewing at the end of it, when now the algorithm doesn't.
I bet you still can. Maybe, I'm sure X is more of a wild west than Twitter used to be. But yeah, I think it's definitely more valuable to have 10,000 or 1,000 people who are, long-term engaged than 1 million views on a given piece of content.
But do you own them? Are they your audience, or who owns that audience?
Who owns the audience?
I'm asking who owns the audience.
Well, depends where you have them. If it's on a very algorithmic, visual first social media platform, then you don't own them, and your access to them is being mediated by this algorithm, which even less than we did before, far less than we did before, we understand how it works. And so you can very easily be cut off from that audience. And unless you have another way that is more direct, which could be WhatsApp, it could be newsletters, it could be SMS, or RCS, then you very much do not own that audience.
Okay, so you don't own your audience, but they are your audience, but you don't own them. I don't know if I feel uncomfortable with not owning an audience, because I think you can earn an audience. Like, is your audience earned by you, or is it?
You don't own the relationship. It's not that obviously you don't own the people, but it's like you can be cut off from them at any time.
Yeah.
And your only way of reaching them, unless you've built other ways, is through a platform and an algorithm that you don't control.
And that reach can disappear overnight if something changes.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Feature change, new bit of technology. Yeah. I think one of you were talking about how personalized everything is now. I think we might just be at the very beginning of where personalization goes. I think the things that the other technologies that we've been speaking about can do could, hyper personalization.
This speaks to people, people talking about building their own personal brand, but that is the only thing. Your name is the thing that someone can remember, and so they can search on a platform for you and find you there. But that's like WhatsApp has now just introduced
Usernames.
so that you can be found.
Did you get yours?
Personally, I've secured mine.
Very good.
As Star Trek Lover 55. Yours is Gilmore Girls Lover
Mine is,
22.
yeah, in the Villa 2026.
So, yeah, I think you've completely thrown me with that. I was not expecting you to go for that. Relationships are going to be built on individuals. That speaks to the creator economy exploding in a way that creates new types of relationships with audiences, but there's still that huge reliance on the platform that you're using because people don't have their own platforms.
And then also when it comes to search, we used to have the ability to see how we ranked on something like Google, and we used to get a sense of impressions and click through. Now, if click through is not happening, we don't even have a clear sense of, and that's, Google is probably the best at providing some insights here. We don't know how our content or information is appearing in ChatGPT conversations, right?
But the metrics are going to be different. So the metrics for success for some people are going to be how much money I've made. Who cares about the views? The views might not correlate with the amount of money that I'm able to make as an independent brand across platforms. There's an argument
about
also
the money
to be made for like the most successful people are going to have platform diversity, and none of these people none of these kind of situations that we're talking about have touched on AI display. Like how do you become successful there?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm trying to get at. And how would you know if you're successful there?
Yeah.
You don't.
Do you need to know if you're successful?
I don't know.
You need to know. You need to know something because ultimately people have we kind of try to work out our value and self-worth.
Yeah, it's that bit's really unclear. There are people who are trying to work on some standards around this, but it's very early days.
So
I do think that what was SEO is now GEO. I think it's kind of a new.
What does GEO stand for?
Generative engine optimization, maybe.
Okay.
We should fact check that acronym. Yeah. I think that might be not a very legitimate approach.
No.
Because I don't think we understand how the models work.
But if we're going to talk about what success looks like now, and let's say now being second half of 2026, because that's about as far as we can look ahead, maybe trust, loyalty, community.
Hard to measure.
Yeah, repeat engagement, becoming harder to measure, direct connection, like anecdotal measurement, really. Podcasts maybe growing.
Yeah, podcast number 1. Yeah.
Podcast number 1. Follow your favorite podcast, like and subscribe. Newsletters are growing. Newsletters are still important to people, although I don't think we've quite seen the AI hit yet in terms of summarizing.
Yeah, I was wondering about whether newsletters seems like a very scoop-upable thing for something like ChatGPT Pulse, or Google's got a new thing which is going to provide a lot of the value. I don't know.
In-person events are growing.
IRL.
And memberships are growing. So, and all of those things are kind of like events, memberships, podcasts, a little bit more social.
A little bit more human, right? They're a little bit more personal,
human.
A little bit more intimate.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the reasons why we decided to make this a video podcast, because we wanted people to know that we were real and that we're really physically in the same room talking to each other and interacting with each other.
I've finished all my water.
We make very few cuts. Most of this goes out kind of as we've
As live
as
they say
live
in
as
the
we've
biz.
as we've done it, because we wanted to create that difference between the highly edited. Whether people like that or not, we will know. Soon you might just see us as this may be reduced to like a 3 minutes of jump cuts. So just I wanted to kind of wrap up by asking like what is the new viral
What is
in
new
one
viral?
sentence?
I think the new viral is smaller than you'd expect.
Mm.
And the new viral will look like it will be a smaller number, but the people that you reach will be people who really care about what you're talking about and doing, I think, which might be more powerful.
Yeah. You've said it in a nicer way. I was going to say that the new viral is measurable impact.
New viral is measurable impact.
Impact-
Cash dollars is impact
I think
money.
I think impact can be money. I think impact can be like making a change, or impact can be making someone feel like they want to have an ongoing connection with you. I think you could say like repeat engagement would be a sign of impact. I think actually if someone, I wonder if the kind of barrier to sharing something is higher now, because everything's so fast moving. You used to just be like, yeah, retweet or share to my feed. I rarely do that now. And I wonder if a share, like if it's impactful and I want to tell my friends about it, and my friends are seeing so much stuff, they don't need recommendations from me, but is a recommendation from an actual friend something that's more impactful? Is it the way that you introduce me to the value of Love Island by making a personal recommendation to me to watch
I do hope I've provided more value to you than that.
Oh, you do.
It's a low bar to clear. I was thinking,
yeah.
wait, how many people do you share news stories with?
I mainly share news stories with you,
Yeah,
and I do that on Slack.
yeah.
I don't do that on social media at all.
I think I probably share news stories with maybe
I share it with some of my
maybe
family
two or
members.
three people.
Yeah.
Maybe my mum.
Share
my
it
wife.
professionally. We share it within our organization.
It's
Something
interesting.
that's,
I think I used to share a lot more visibly.
and I used to be really careful about what I shared, because I
Yeah.
was like, I'd really think whether this is something that I felt my friends should be aware of, and like how are they going to judge me for sharing this particular story when I'm so careful about what I share. So can we go back to that, where it becomes
I think
more impactful to
LinkedIn-
share something?
LinkedIn is still a vaguely social network,
Yes,
kind of,
yeah.
for the moment.
Okay, the internet hasn't disappeared. It's just fragmented. It's changing. This is the state of things in the second half of 2026. I think, who knows what it'll be in the first quarter of 2027. I'm glad that we've gone on this journey. I'm not downbeat about it now, because actually thinking about our actions towards each other online, if they're a bit more intentional, may have greater impact and meaning, and that the value of those interactions at one point was rock bottom. It was super low. Like there was no value to someone sharing something with you, and now that kind of personal interaction. So maybe we come back to
Yeah. I think my positive takeaway is that you can now build direct relationships with audiences who really care about what you're doing, even if they're small. And there's a lot of value in that, both from an impact perspective, and we'll come back to impact in future episodes, I'm sure, and probably from a monetary perspective.
I'm just pleased that we've managed to navigate the entire rise and fall of the open web, the introduction of social networks, the social web, AI, and we've come full circle to meaningful personal interactions with only about 5 mentions of Love Island.
There we go.
So for more of this, please like us on Spotify, Apple Music, follow us on YouTube and subscribe there, and leave your comments about anything that you've heard here. We would love to be able to respond, and we would love for you to guide us using your personal connection to what we're talking about for future episodes. So thanks very much.
See you next time.